Okay. Hi, Princess. Can you hear me?
Yes.
What campus are you from? Are you from Columbus too?
Yes.
Okay. And then who just came in? Charity. Charity, you from hi Charity. Are you from Columbus as
Hi.
well?
Cincinnati.
Oh, you're Cincinnati, okay. Columbus campus students are certainly outweighing the Cincinnati ones. Okay, so let's get started. I'm Kathleen Marvel, Professor Marvel, however you want to address me. I have completed my bio with all my information. Long story short, I've been a nurse almost, oh my gosh, I think next year will be 40 years. Started out in the military, was a Navy nurse. Hi, Brittany. Excuse me. Is Brittany from Columbus too? Yes. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So anyway, started out in Navy nursing and then went into the hospitals in Denver. Worked in NICU, then worked in administration, director of nursing, and then I just finished 20 years in school nursing. Just retired last year. Loved it. So school nurse is a community nurse, so that's where my experience comes from. And now I am in education, which I love. So been at Fortis almost 2 years. I teach between the RN and the PN program. So happy. This is my only RN class this term. I have 3 PN classes. So welcome to everybody. I hope that you enjoy this class. I always say at the beginning that this is a much different class than your peds and your med surge and your mental health and all that. So just take a different approach to this. It's there's no clinicals attached. There's no sims. There's no nothing like that. So just enjoy it. It's just a different way of thinking about nursing out in the community. And irregardless of where I get another storm passing through here. So I hope I don't lose internet. If I do, just hang tight and it will reconnect back in. Can you hear it? It's about our, I would say, 4th downpour today. Anyway, that's what happens when you're out in the woods trying to get internet. It is CenturyLink, so it is pretty stable, but it does flicker on and off during storms. So anyway, where was I?
I don't know, but at least you don't have Spectrum out in the country, because I have Spectrum and it is terrible in the country. I don't even get CenturyLink out here.
Oh, well, CenturyLink just started up here. And yeah. So
I'm sorry, I just couldn't not.
Okay. It's okay. But it's fine when it's nice out, but it's really stormy and really black outside. So whatever. So what was I saying? Help me out. Where did I leave off?
You just retired.
Oh yeah, I just retired from school nursing. No, I already talked about that. Community. So just sit back and enjoy this class. Okay, it's not a hard class. It really isn't. It's different from your other classes. So just take the approach that you're stepping out of the hospital setting, you're stepping out of your clinical settings, and you're gonna go be a community nurse for 12 weeks. So when you come here, just try and enjoy it. I mean, there's a lot to learn. What do you all think of? What do you think? What's a community nurse? What's community nursing? What do you think of? What do you do?
Think of things like health department, nursing, and
Nonprofit.
yeah.
Education, a lot of education.
Mm-hmm. What kind of nurses work in the community? So, for example, for me, I was a school nurse. So that's considered a community nurse. What other kinds of hats might a nurse wear in the community?
Home health care.
Home health?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. What about hospice? Yep. What about occupational health nurses? They in the community? Yep. What about faith-based nurses, faith community nurses? Yep. They're out in the community. What else? I mean, think
Maybe
of
a COVID nurses for now.
What?
Maybe a COVID nurse for now.
Yeah, COVID nurse,
Health
immunization.
department.
Yeah, public health nurse, vaccination nurse. There's lots of things. I always say in community, you bring in your whole toolbox. When you get out and work in the community, you bring in your whole toolbox. You're bringing your skills from med-surg. You're bringing your skills from peds, mental health, OB, because in community, you're working with people from birth to death, birth to elderly, right? You could be working with infants, kids, high school kids. I mean, in school nursing, I worked with kids from 3 to high school. So we consider community nursing, you can be working with either maybe an individual or maybe a family in the community, maybe a certain population in the community, like say the homeless or diabetics or a specific group in the community, or you could be working with the community as a whole. So lots of different aspects to community nursing, but it really does bring together all your skills. And then of course, if you work up where I am as a rural community nurse, you may be everything, right? You may be the L&D nurse, you may be the well baby check nurse, you might be the vaccination nurse, school nurse, whatever. So my point is that school nursing covers a lot of ground and you bring all your skills forward to be in the community. So I would just encourage you to sit back, enjoy this class. There's not a lot of work to it. It's not a hard class. You just have to keep up. Like I told my group earlier today, just carve out a block of time during the week just to get your community things done, and then go and focus on your med-surg and your peds. Okay, you don't want to fall behind in this class because you can't blow off this class. I know it's only 2 credits, but you need it to pass. You need to keep going. And this is not a class you want to repeat. I mean, you just don't. Okay, so just keep up. And I say this every term, but it always happens. Our first exam is in week 3. And a lot of students do poorly on that exam because they just think that they're studying for peds and med-surg and all that. And I get it. I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know how you guys do what you do, the workloads you do. I've been saying this for a year. But you're here, you've got 3 classes, you hopefully at this point have good time management skills and good organizational skills, but get your community stuff done early in the week. You have a Monday class, get it done. And then you can focus on your other 2 classes. That's my suggestion. But once you get behind on exam 1, there's only 4 KGAs, right? And we'll go through this, but you have 3 exams and a Hesi. All 4 are worth 20% each. So that's your 80%. So if you don't do well on exam 1, the next time your grade's going to move is week 6. Okay. And then week 9. So don't get behind. It's not worth it. It's not. You can keep up. I know you can. We have organized and planned this course that it's a very manageable course to be taken with peds and med-surg. Okay, so that's my first order of business. Anybody have any feedback about that? I say it every term, but then we get to exam 1 and people don't go to the reviews, or they just kind of think, oh, it's community exam, no big deal. But, so Anyway, anybody have any burning questions before we get started? Nothing? Okay. Let me share my screen. I do have to review the PowerPoint. We'll go through it quickly since everybody has seen it already. And then we'll go through the module and go through some of the information in there. And then as far as week 1 material, chapters, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 10, 21. I will send you a recording about that so that we don't have to next week, we don't have to cover 9 chapters. Okay. So I'll send a recording, but you gotta, I mean, you should be watching it. I'm going to send you out a bunch of stuff. I'm going to send you, I like to send the study guides for the upcoming exam usually in the first week first week of that the exam is going to take place to cover, because what I like to encourage you to do is take the study guide. So you should get it this week, and it's exam 1's weeks 1 and 2, right? So after week 1, go through that study guide, check off everything we went through or highlight it, whatever. So at the end of next week, which is week 2, everything should be highlighted. Does that make sense? That we covered the topic or we covered the concept, and that way it might have it be a little bit easier to study. And so that's why I like you guys to have the study guides early, because I do my teaching based on several things, and one is including in the study guide. So you should by the end of next week, all that information on the study guide for exam 1 should be familiar to you. Otherwise, I haven't done my job in covering it. And as far as me doing my job, I consider this a partnership. Okay, this is a team effort. Okay, I do my part, you got to do your part. But obviously the goal is to get everybody over the finish line, to pass community and keep going, keep moving in the program. I realize you guys are busy. You're running in a gazillion different directions, busy with classes and home life and work and all that. I completely acknowledge that. So I just want to try and keep you on track. I'm really, really easy to work with. I'm really flexible where I can be flexible, but there's a lot of guidelines that I do have to follow to the T with Fortis. And you guys should be well aware of all these. You know, you're in your 7th term? Are you in your 7th? Yeah, you guys are 1 term away from graduation, right? Yeah.
I do have one burning question.
Yeah, go.
On one of the announcements that you sent out, it was talking about the Healthy People 2030, and in there it said that we will be tested on that information. Does your study guide, because I've been on that website, like there's a lot, so I just wasn't sure, like if your study guide will point out maybe one of those pages to look at, or
the
pretty hefty.
Healthy People 2030 is more focused on the first group assignment that you guys are going to do, that's due in week 3, not so much on the test.
Okay, that's what I was just curious about.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll go through that too. I'm going to break you guys out into groups this week. There's 2 group projects, and anyway.
Okay.
So anybody have any questions before we go to the PowerPoint? Oh, I was saying I'm really easy to get along with. I'm really flexible where I can be. And the only thing that is really kind of a game changer for me, it's non-negotiable, is communication. Okay. Just communicate with me, whatever's going on. If you're struggling with coming to a live lecture, if you've had an emergency and you can't make it, please, or you're going to be late with an assignment, please just let me know. If you've got something going on that's affecting your studies or whatever, just it's good for me to know, because I can try and support you more. But I can't do anything if I don't know what's going on. Okay. And I'm not saying that to be nosy at all. I'm just saying if it's affecting your academics, reach out to me. I don't care if you text me, just say who you are, because obviously I don't have your phone saved, but just text me or call me or email me. I really pride myself on my response times. I'm I respond quickly, may not be the first 5 minutes, but I will respond what I think is a timely manner. So again, I'm just super easy to, I would rather us work together as a team and you learn about community nursing. I don't want to focus on late work and all that. It's just not necessary in this class. It's not. I mean, I'm sure I'll run into it with students, but there's no reason to. Just get your stuff in on time and do your reading and come to class and use your study guide and you'll be fine. I'm telling you, you'll be fine. You just can't blow it off. Okay?
I have a quick question.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go.
Are we assigned groups or are we able to pick them since we're mostly from the same campus?
No, you guys have access to everybody's email, and I just randomly put you guys in groups. So we do have 3 Cincinnati students. So, I mean, yeah, I guess I could put Cincinnati students together since they know each other, and Columbus students. That's all I have is so yeah, that's a good suggestion because I only have 2 sounds like I might only have 2 campuses. So yeah, I can do that. And your groups go, your same group goes with the second project that's due, I think, in week 7. So yeah,
Gotcha.
that's fine.
Okay.
I usually mix it up just so you can get to meet new people and work with new people and whatever. But again, that's yeah, no big deal. Good question. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions?
I have one question. So if we have to take an exam on an opposite of our assigned class, do we automatically lose 10%?
Say that again. If you what?
So if we miss class on an exam night,
yeah,
it was 4%. If we have to take it on a different class, do we automatically lose 10%?
Well, it depends on why you're having to take it. If it's an emergency, then, and you've let somebody know, like me, and you've provided documentation, if it's an emergency, from a doctor or whatever, then yes, no, 10% won't be taken off. We'll schedule you on a different day. But if it's a no-show, and this is in the PowerPoint, if it's a no-show for the exam, it's a 0.
No, it won't be a no-show. It'll be scheduled. We're just waiting on appointment times. So.
Okay. Yeah. And then, if you communicate with me ahead of time, we can plan something, as long as it's a one-off, which it sounds like it is. And that's the same with live lectures. I had a student earlier today saying, well, I work on Mondays, and not every Monday, but some Mondays. So there may be like 4 or 5 that I won't be able to attend. Well, no, that doesn't work that way. It says it all over your syllabus. These are mandatory. This is your attendance. This is your attendance submission. I mean, if it's a one-off and you have something going on that you have to miss this, here's what I do. Number 1, I always use the recording as plan B, because I'll send you a recording of the lecture for you to review if you need to, but I'll always offer you to go, this is my only RN class. So I'll always offer you to go to another instructor's class during the week, later in the week.
No, it'll be open. We just don't know the date for my husband yet.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah. Just let me know. I'll work with you. Absolutely. It's the no calls and no shows that make me nuts. That will, it's just an automatic 0. I don't have a choice. Okay. Does that help?
Yep.
And don't email me and say you're going to miss class because you have to work. That's kind of not an acceptable. Like I said, if it's a one-off, whatever. But don't be emailing me numerous times saying, "Oh, can I go to one of your other classes? I have to work tonight." That's not going to work either. And not my rules, Fortis rules. So, all right. anything else before we get going? Here's who I'm waiting for. Who has it? Robin Cook. She a Columbus student? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Robin, where?
I'm
There you
here.
are. Oh, okay. I missed you. Are you Columbus?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed you. Juliana. Is Juliana Columbus? Juliana God's Power / Odeon? Anybody know Juliana? Okay. And I'm missing Blake Miller. Guys know Blake? Yes?
She's Columbus.
He's
I can
Columbus.
text her, but Columbus.
Oh, it's a her. Okay. Yeah, text Blake and ask her if she's coming to class.
yeah. I'll ask.
And then last one I'm missing is Caitlin Music. Music? Anybody know Caitlin?
She's Columbus. I'll text her. She was in community before this.
Okay.
Peds, yeah.
Okay. All right. So Caitlin and Blake are Columbus. We don't know about Juliana. We don't know where she's from. So she's the only one we don't know. Okay. Thanks. Yeah. Text those two and tell them to either come to class or send me an email of why they're not here, or they may be changing classes too. Did you guys see that announcement today about schedule changes from Dean Brown? So Friday's the drop dead date. So if you're thinking ahead that, oh, my work schedule may not work with this Monday evening class, now is the time to figure that out and request a change, because after Friday, no more changes. So if anybody's on the fence about if this is the right time or not and thinking about changing, get that done sooner rather than later. Okay, let's go to PowerPoint. Okay, so I know you've seen this, but we're going to go through it quickly. You should know what online learning is. I'll stop here because here's my Dr. Lundy's contact information. She is our course lead. Okay, so first start with me. Oh, can you guys, did I share my screen? Can you guys see this? Because I can't see you.
No.
Oh, sorry. Hang on. Let me back up. Oh, there you are. Okay, let's share my screen. Now can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, everybody can see this? Okay, yes?
Yeah.
Everybody can see this. That's just yes, just okay. Is anybody can't see it?
Yes.
Okay, all right, good. So first contact me for any issues. Okay, so for any issues with computer access, course questions, grading, start with me. Okay. However, if you're having issues with any kind of sims, labs, clinicals, even though this course doesn't have it, please go to your campus. Okay, go to your campus instructor, campus dean. Okay, so if you have an issue and I can't help you with it, or you don't want me to help you with it, here's our course lead, Dr. Annalena Lundy. Okay, here's her contact information. This is going to be on slide 3. So just save slide 3. Okay, and that's Dr. Lundy's contact information. Okay, she's our course lead. And then Dean Brown, here's her. She's the National Dean of Online Nursing Education. So we all report to Dean Brown. And here's her contact information. Okay, so slide 3 you want to keep a hold of. You online instructor, you already know what my expectations are. At this point, you're in term 7. You should know about when course starts Mondays and Sundays. I think we have, I'll go through, but I think there might be 4 or 5 Wednesdays that you will have something due. I think there's 4 discussion questions. One of those is a group, and then there's a second group project. And the 2 group projects need to be presented on initial posting is Wednesday. So I think you might have 5. You have to be familiar with the Wednesdays that you need to submit something. Does that make sense? And then everything else is due on Sunday. Okay.
Sorry to
I
interrupt.
need- Yep.
But it looks like Caitlin Music, she's supposed to be moving to Friday mornings,
Awesome. Thank you.
is what she sent me.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate that. Well, I'm usually pretty good on Mondays and Thursdays. If something was due on Wednesday night, I'll shoot you an email Thursday morning and say, where is it? Because number one, if I haven't heard from you, it's an automatic 10% off. But I'm just going to be reminding you, hey, you didn't turn in your initial response, turn it in. But it would be 10% off automatic if you haven't contacted me. And then on Monday mornings, I'm always in there and sending emails if you didn't turn something in as well. So it's just a reminder. And then the 10% off applies. Okay, so that's that. Late work. Okay, so we just talked about this. So number one is prior approval from me. And I don't like the way that's worded, but if you just let me know something's going on, we'll work with it. Okay. I'll work with you, but anything that I don't know about that's late is 10% off. And then you can only turn in within the first week. You guys know this, right? 10% deduction. And then after first week, it's nothing, zero, automatic zero. And you know about this, right? You have to 2 student submissions. I don't care if you work ahead. I really don't, but you have to be careful. Okay. Because we need 2 submissions every week. You guys, this isn't unfamiliar to you, right? So the live session is always 1. Okay. But there's a couple of weeks that there's only one other thing due. I don't know which week it is. One is just another, one week there's just an NCLEX due, and there's another week that there's just one other thing due. So those weeks you got to hold on to your second submission. So for example, I have students that work ahead on NCLEX. That's fine. Work ahead on NCLEX. Just don't submit it till the week it's due. Right? So you have to have 2 submissions each week. So for this course, it's always going to be a live session attestation. If for some reason you can't get to the class and you let me know and you can't get to any of the other 10 sections, then you'll have to watch the recording within 24 hours. The other thing I'll mention now, we're talking about attestations, is I like to do the attestations at the end of each class so it gets done and you don't have to worry about going back and doing it within 24 hours. I like for all of us to pull up the attestation at the end of the lecture, and we all fill it out together. And then you hit submit, and that's one less thing you have to worry about. Okay. So between attestations, NCLEX, we have a few case studies, few project paper, discussion boards, Kaplan, and your exams. Those
I just have a quick question. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
That 2 submissions each week counting for attendance. So essentially, as long as we log in, after that, if we have worked ahead, we just can't post that homework to our Canvas. We can't submit it until whatever week that's due. So like if I wanted to get all of my NCLEX done and out of the way as of, tomorrow, I can't post those to my Canvas ahead of time. I have to physically wait to post them until each week.
Yep. So for like example, next week, I think, let me pull up the syllabus. Hang on. Yeah, that's kind of correct. You just have to be careful, assuming your live lecture counts as 1. Let's see what weeks we're talking about.
I just was making sure because I know in the past they said you can't miss. So like you have to interact with your Canvas. It wasn't a matter of like submitting the homework. You had to physically log on and interact with your Canvas essentially. And it could tell when you didn't. So if you missed like that 14-day mark, it was essentially knowing like you haven't been attending class because you haven't been logging on. So for this instance, even though I'm submitting early, it's still
when you submit
logging on each day or each week, it's
Nope,
still
that's-
making.
That's not what this is, two separate things. So if you look below, this is what you're talking about. Anyone without posting attendance in 14 days will be dropped. Okay, and that means you haven't logged on to your shell. Okay, and that's considered attendance. This is talking about submissions. So if you submit to me an NCLEX this week, that's going to count in week 1. Does that make sense?
Kind of, yes. So
That's
we just can't submit it until the weeks that they're due. So
I'm
it.
encouraging you not to, because you have to have 2 every week. So for example, like this week, yeah, so this week you have attestation tonight and your professional development paper, right? That's all you have due this week. So there's your 2, right? Make sense? So week
Yep.
1 is 1 week that we only have 2 assignments. Okay. So let's see. Week 2, we have like 3 things to do. Trying to find the other week. Week 3. Yep. We're fine on week 3. Week 4. So week 4 is another one. There's only 2 assignments. It's your attestate, your lecture, and your Hesi case study. So if you turn in your Hesi case study, if you do it early, there's nothing else to get your second submission. Does that make sense?
Are exams counting in that as well?
Yes.
So like if you have a week that has an exam that has 3, that technically is your 3rd one. I want to make sure I'm understanding it correctly. That's the only reason I'm asking.
Yeah. So like week 4, where that's not an exam week. So you only have 2 things due. So you need to make sure you have 2 things that week, where week 3 is an exam week. So you have your attestation, your exam, your case study. So you have 3 things. I'm just trying to give you the weeks. You just need to be careful. You need to be cognizant that there needs to be 2 submissions. You know, week 7, there's only the attestation and a discussion question. It's another week that only has 2 things. So you guys get my point, right? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Not documented, not done. Okay, so we started this, well, we've been trying to enforce this, and it's been enforced differently by all different professors. We finally put it in writing last term. So this is the 2nd term we've had this in here. So cameras need to be on at all times. Okay, and again, these are Fortis rules, not mine. You're not allowed to be in class if you're driving. Okay, if that's the case, I need to remove you from class if you're driving. Now, if you're a passenger in a car, it's fine, as long as you're not driving, right? And you're not allowed to be logged in while you're at work, okay, during your scheduled time. So, okay. You guys should already know all these 7. You should be already practicing these 7 key steps to success. To be successful in this class, or frankly, any other class, keep in contact with your instructor. And that goes for all your courses. Have a reliable internet connection. Maintain a schedule for completing your work, meaning be organized. Identify a quiet place, read all assignments, log into class 4 to 5 times a week. I post to announcements a lot because that's my avenue of communication with you guys. Okay, so I'd be checking every couple of days. Do you guys get alerted when you have a new announcement? Or some of you do? Yeah, I just be checking in every couple of days. Submit all assignments when they're due. Whoops. Submit all assignments when they're due. I try and review each week what's for the upcoming week. Do not procrastinate. Anybody a procrastinator here besides me? Okay, so this is a new, this is new for community. This term you're well, we always want you to try and do your homework and complete the readings ahead of time. All right, so we put it in writing this term because it just isn't getting done. Reading must be done prior to lecture time. Okay, in order to be successful in this class, it is expected that you read the objectives and be prepared to discuss the objectives as they relate to the concepts taught in the current week. For example, and I'll show you this in the modules, you look at the objectives at the beginning of the chapter. Okay, your objectives are in two places. Okay, I've said you got the PowerPoints, right? Everybody got the PowerPoints? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 10, 21. Okay, see Blake coming in. So I don't know if what you've looked at so far, but the second page of the PowerPoint is the objectives. And those objectives match the objectives in the chapter in the book. Everything's connected in this class. Okay, so the PowerPoints are essentially a summary of the chapters. Okay, so I like to teach from the book. I like to teach from my expectation is that you at least review the PowerPoints to know what we're going to be covering in the upcoming week. And then I try and use the book to support the important topics and concepts in the PowerPoints that we need to know. So it's all the same, meaning your objectives in the PowerPoint and the book are the same. So, and as the book states, at the end of this chapter, you should be able to, and then it goes to the objectives, explain, discuss, articulate, identify. Does that make sense? Pretty simple. Okay, so for example, you look at the objectives at the beginning of the chapter, then you look up the answers and the concepts. Okay, I'm hoping, or the goal with this is that you have looked at the objectives and can have a discussion in class about, when I read the 6 objectives, let's discuss it. That's what we need to pull out of each chapter, right? So the answers will be in your PowerPoints and your reading. In class, you may end up in a group or called upon to present material or draft a care plan or give a SBAR case for that your instructor presents. I'm not sure I will go that far, but what I want to do is just have a discussion about the objectives. Does that make sense? Because that tells me you did a little prep work. Because if you come to class, and I always do queries at the beginning of the class, and I'll do it now. Let me stop sharing for a minute. Honestly. So who's looked at the PowerPoints that I sent? Who knows what week 1's topics are? That's my point. Okay. So
I know I try to just look at the 3 classes in general, and a lot of the stuff was blocked until today. So
I was going to say a lot of people
that I wasn't able to even
didn't show up until this afternoon.
Oh,
yeah, and I work until.
And you know why that probably is? In one of the announcements, it says I just got added to the class at 5 p.m. Oh, no worries, Tiffany. It says that you have to complete that syllabus quiz and that technology literacy quiz before you get access to your shell. Robin's shaking her head.
The actual shell was not even on some people's Canvas. The class wasn't showing up.
I did both of them and mine are locked.
I did those last week as soon as it popped up, and I still wasn't able to get into a lot of the stuff because it said that it wasn't allowed. You weren't allowed to until 12 or 11 till today.
Oh, wow.
At midnight.
Okay. Because I got an email on Thursday, I think, that said all students have access to the shell. Anyway, so keep that thought that I just said for next week. All right. Let's not skip this week, but for next week, that's the expectation. Okay. Does that make sense? But everybody has access to the shell now. Is there anybody that doesn't? And for all of you, there's not very many of you, but please complete that technology. I'm going to let you guys out early. And so for the ones that didn't complete the technology and syllabus, use that time that I let you out early to just go in and complete it and get it done with. Because I don't think you can access the shell, even though you have it now, without doing those two. Or is that just a head fake? Do you guys know? Just if you
can't access the shells until after you've done the quizzes, either of them.
You can't access the modules.
You can get in the shell.
Right.
But you have to, yeah.
Okay. So just whoever hasn't done them, I haven't checked today, honestly. I taught an earlier class, so I haven't had time to check today, but you know, that's kind of that partnership. I'll do my part, you do your part, right? You get those done. They only take a second to do, right? So don't let that be a reason that you're not doing it. They take very little time to do. Come prepared, because you will learn the concepts will stick, and you'll have better outcomes on exams in this course. If for some reason during live lecture you're kind of not there, it's kind of funny at the end of class when I end the lecture and there's a few names sitting up there and you call their names and do you have any, because I always say I'll stay on extra for questions and then nobody's answering, so whether they walked away or whatever, but you'll always get a recording. Okay, so if you missed a certain part of it because you had to take a phone call or do whatever, there's always a recording to go back to. Okay. All right. Let's keep moving here. Kind of going slow. You guys, this is a no-brainer. You should already be doing this. Weekly sessions mandatory. 10 scheduled participate. Yeah, I mean, I don't like to listen to myself talk for 2 hours. I really like an interactive discussion. And it's hard to do that when nobody has read what we're even covering. And that's why we took a step this term to make an expectation that you are aware of the objectives, you've tried to search out the answers to the objectives, because that's the important things from the chapter. And it's hard to have an interactive lecture if nobody's prepared. Okay. So we are putting together, like we did last term, an exam review schedule. So the end of week 2 over the weekend, we usually do it like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So week 2, the end of the weekend, going into week 3 before you take, so you'll be taking exams on Monday nights. So between Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there should be a live exam review done by, we all do one, done by one of each instructor. So you should have at least 4 opportunities to attend a live review, right? And then we all send the recordings to each other so that we can send them out to the students. So even though you'll get my recording of my exam review, you'll also get 3 others. Okay, makes sense? So you have plenty of opportunities. And the reason why we moved it back to Thursdays, we know a lot of people work on the weekends, right? So we tried to give you an opportunity to have a couple of weekday ones, and we try and spread out the times, a couple of morning ones, maybe a day one, Sunday morning, Saturday morning. We're just trying to give you the best opportunity to attend. That's why we break them out over 4 days. I highly encourage, I mean, you'll have recordings and that's fine, but this is so true. Students that participate actively in these 2 things, which are exam reviews and tutoring, if needed, tend to have a higher testing scores, as much as 20 points higher. That is so true. It just is. Attending live reviews, just you come up with higher scores. That's just, it is what it is. As far as tutoring, I'm happy to tutor one-on-one. However, what we need to do is I need you to do your part and go through the study guide or go through specifically what you're not understanding. I'm not going to tutor to review all the material we covered because you missed class or whatever. So tutoring, it's really specific to what you're not understanding. Does that make sense? So I'm happy to do it, but I don't want it to be a replacement for class. Okay. So we are in the process of putting together our live review schedule. It's going to be for all 3 exams and the Hesi. So you'll have one sheet of paper for all 3, so you can plan ahead. Okay, so it'll be the weekend before week 3. It'll be the weekend before week 6 and the weekend before week 9. And then we spend week 10. All of our class time is we do a 2-hour Hesi review. Okay, so week 10, we're done with material on week 9. So week 10 is a Hesi review. Okay, so you'll be coming here to your scheduled class. However, we open up all the other 10, 11, 12 sections for you to go to at any time that week if you want to attend other Hesi reviews, because every professor is doing a Hesi review during class time. And I think we have 12 sections of community. So that's a lot of opportunities to go to more than one Hesi review. Make sense? So we've been working together as a team for over a year now, and I think we do a really good job as a group. We're very accessible as a group. We share everything as a group. We offer students to go to each other's classes. We cover for each other if one of us has to miss a class. So I think you'll find us to be a very good team in supporting you guys. Next is, I don't know if you've checked out the syllabus yet, but here's your grading component. So like I said, you have 4 KGAs, 3 exams, and the Hesi. Each is worth 20%. Okay. And then everything else, you know the drill, right? You can either turn in all of this or not turn in all of this. Okay, so if you end up with a KGA at 78% and you've done all your homework, then you're probably going to end up, I don't know, 84, 85% for a final grade. But if you have a 78 and you are missing assignments, you're going to end up failing the class. Okay, and we talk about this every term. You know about that, right? You know about that scenario. Midway through the term, we turn on the homework grade so you can see how your homework is. Is it bumping up your grade or is it pulling down your grade? I'm usually a pretty good stickler for homework. I stay right on you. So I usually have really high success rates with homework, and it helps everybody at the end. But don't be that student that, especially community, don't be the student that fails because of homework. You pass the class with the KGAs and then you fail because of homework. Okay, makes sense? So here's what we have. We have a vulnerable populations assignment that I'll talk about in a couple of weeks. No big deal. It's not due till week 9, but it is a big portion of your grade, 8% of your homework. And that's essentially picking a vulnerable population in your zip code. We'll talk about it more later. Picking a population in your zip code, a vulnerable population, and doing basically a research paper, and it comes out to like a 10-slide PowerPoint. Who's the population? What are the statistics in your community? What services do they have? What are the service gaps that they don't have? Those kinds of things. So it's a cool paper. Professional development plan is my favorite assignment of the whole term. We have it due week 1 this week. So Sunday, professional development plans due. And has anybody looked at that yet? Is the template uploaded, or do I need to send you guys a template? Do you even know what I'm talking about? We'll go into the module. Remind me to check on that because it's supposed to be a 2-page.
The rubric is up, but I
Like
haven't
the
seen it.
breakdown, like the
Yeah, it's like short-term goals, long-term goals. It's like 6 sections.
yes, it's there.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
up
it is
there.
there. Okay, I did that a couple of terms ago because people are just, just submitting whatever. So I sent the students a template. So you just have to use the template. And then all your APA's done, APA format and all that. Okay, so the template is in the module. Okay, good. So that's my favorite. It's my favorite assignment to grade this week because I love to learn about you guys, what you currently do, and what you want to do. What do you want to do with your degrees? You want to keep going, and a lot of nurse practitioner. I mean, it's just fabulous. I love the professional development plans. Love them. So anyway, I can't wait till you start submitting them. And speaking of grading, I like to grade early if possible. So if you turn in your professional development plan, I don't know, later in the week, Thursday, Friday, I'll start trying to grade those and rather than waiting till Monday. If they're in, just because I have 4 classes and so 4 sections. So I like to grade. Now with the discussion questions, if you've done the initial response by Wednesday and by Wednesday, I'm just opening a window. If you've done initial response by Wednesday and you even have your peer responses in, I'll go ahead and grade that or start to rather than waiting till Monday. So just don't be surprised if you turn in something Wednesday or Thursday and you see a grade already. Okay. I'm just trying to keep up. You got a couple of case studies. I think one's in week 4 and maybe one's in week 8. Oh, that's Hesi case studies. So you have a hospice case study and you have a disaster management case study. Okay. And then you have 4 sets of NCLEX questions. Remember, and the topics that you need to request for NCLEX are right in the module. And I'll show you that when we go to the module. 4 sets, but do request 1 set of 50
For
questions.
the NCLEX, like
What?
the NCLEX, whatever we turn in as the grade, that's what we get. Is that correct? Like we can just strive for the best grade and that's what we get.
I have a slide for that. Hang tight, stand by on that one. But please request 50 questions. Okay, don't do 2 25s or 5 10s. Okay, there's a reason we ask you to select 50 because there's several categories you have to pick from, and it's all designed to give you a variety of questions. Okay, I missed case study Healthy People 2030. That is your first group project, and that's due in like week 3. And I'll send by the end of the week. I'll send what the groups are, and then you guys get together and turn something in week 3. And then we do a Kaplan at the end. I think week 10 is the Kaplan. Kaplan is the best exercise that mimics the NCLEX. And it has all the rationales. The other thing is with I'll talk about NCLEX in a minute. I'm really big on rationales. In fact, I still need to send you a few things from week 1. In my instructor documents, there's a case study for each week. And it goes and it has rationales. I'm really big on rationales. NCLEX questions have rationales. Kaplan has rationales. I'm going to be sending you a case study probably today or tomorrow, probably tomorrow, that is associated with chapter 1, 2, 3, 10, and 21. And those are really, really good. I would definitely add that to your to-do list to review the case studies. If for anything, I don't even care if you get the answers wrong, it's looking at the rationales. Because as we develop exams, you know, the faculty we develop exams 1, 2, and 3, but Hesi we have nothing to do with. Hesi is like NCLEX. They pull from a big bank of questions. But when we develop exam questions, we pull from the book, we pull from PowerPoints are a summary of the book of the chapters. So we're pulling from PowerPoint/book, and we also pull from those case studies, the rationales from the case studies that I'll send you. They're really good, really good. So anytime you can get into rationales, I just think that's an excellent source of learning. Discussion questions, group projects. So 3 discussion questions are on your own. And then the 4th one is an infectious disease group project. That's considered a discussion question where your group picks from the CDC, I think it's a CDC website, an infectious disease, and you do a little research paper on it together as a group. That's what that is. And then, of course, the weekly live sessions. So anybody have any questions?
Yeah, so the discussions aren't like graded. It's just a pass or fail.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yep. Okay, so your 20% of homework is your discussion questions. I mean, don't blow off the discussion questions, even if it's a pass or fail. If you don't turn them in, it's a fail, and that factors in. Okay, so discussion questions, papers, NCLEX, 2 Hesi case studies, a Kaplan exercise. That's all part of your 20%. And you all know that that doesn't get added in at the end if these 4 things don't equal a 78%. Right? You guys know that.
And no quizzes.
No quizzes. Nope. No quizzes. And then usually about midway through, maybe after the second exam, I will turn you, then you'll have 2 exams in the grade book plus lots of homework. I'll turn on the homework grades for you so you can see how your homework is affecting your grade. Is it bringing it up or bringing it down? I already said that. And here's that, you have to be at a 78 KGA before your homework's added in. Please, everybody, between now and week 3, just make sure your ExamSoft account is up to date. It's working. I had one student today email me after class, and she said, I'm glad I checked my portal because something had happened and they had deleted her ExamSoft portal, so she had to create a new account. So let's not wait till week 3 for that to happen. I always try and download the exams for you on the Saturday morning before the exam, because the expectation is that you download the exam before coming to class, right? That shouldn't be anything new, right? So I try and get those. I try and send you an email and say exams are ready to be downloaded. Make sure and you guys are Mondays, so you need to get that done over the weekend. So make sure your ExamSoft account is up and running. And then obviously when you take the exam, you upload it. Okay, so that's that. Accommodations. If anybody has accommodations from last term, it's not automatically carried over. Right. So send me a separate email if you have an accommodation, because we need to get that paperwork to Dean Brown and she needs to approve it, and your campus dean. They need to approve it for this term. So I don't know if anybody has it, but if you do, reach out to me separately. And then the second thing is we're thinking about this is if anybody is repeating this class, please send me a separate email and let me know that. Okay, because things have to be reset in a few places, but I also like to schedule weekly meetings, weekly check-in meetings. So let me know if you're repeating the class. Okay, and here's this: exams are held during your scheduled class time. Exceptions only with written approval by your faculty and copied. So again, it's just the communication piece. I can work with you. So, okay. And then the drill for exams, right? We proctor them. They're proctored by me. Show your ID, show your workspace. You guys know all that. That's just the exam guidelines. Exams missed without prior notice or 0. If exams are missed for personal reasons, it will be that 10% off. But if you let me know, just let me know what's going on if you need to switch exam times. Okay. However, if the exams are missed due to an emergency, it will require documentation of the emergency. Okay. Okay. Contacting your instructors with issues after you've submitted your exam has removed any ability for us to work with you. Okay. So if you're having issues and you need to move the time of your exam, you got to let me know. I'm happy to work with you. We just have to get it done that week. Okay. And then as always, contact your instructor if you have any problems or if you would just like some additional help. Homework, you should already be practicing these. You should already be master organizers the way you guys plow through each term. I don't know, like I said, I don't know how you do it with all the classes. And then everybody's got their own organization way. I love calendars. I use my calendar on my phone all the time, but everybody's got their way. Sticky notes, writing, virtual organization, whatever. You already have your system down. Okay, here's your late work policy. We already went through that. Everybody's done NCLEX questions, right? I don't need to go through these NCLEX slides, correct? And I'll show you in the module where the topics are. This is the slide I was talking about. Whoever was asking, I told you to just stand by about NCLEX. You can repeat NCLEX as many times as you want and submit your highest score. But once you submit it, that's all you can submit, right? But you can keep repeating it. And students I've found like to keep doing it for higher scores because you get the rationales. Every time you submit it, you get rationales back. And so, don't take this is an important assignment. Okay. There's a reason why we have you doing it 4 times during the term, right? You're going to be taking that soon. If anybody submits anything lower than a score of 40, I always send it back. I don't send it back. I will send you an email and I will say, hey, listen, if you want to redo it for a higher score and learn why you got a 39 with the rationales, I'm going to reopen it for you to redo if you want. You don't have to, but it just makes me, when something is submitted below a 40, it makes me think that you probably didn't learn a lot in that exercise. And so let's try it again and let's have you study the rationale so you have a little bit more knowledge. Make sense?
And we don't have to remediate with our NCLEX, correct?
Nope. Well, I guess you do your own remediation, right? By redoing it for a higher score, but it's not mandatory. And if I send you an email back, if you've submitted a 35, 36, and I mean, it's up to you. I've reopened it for you. You can redo it. But a lot of people don't know this. You can repeat the questions as many times as you would like to obtain your highest score. But once you submit it, it's in. And if you submit, I don't know, 41, 42, and you want to redo it, just send me an email. I can reset it for you. Okay. But NCLEX rationales are awesome. Awesome. So, you guys know by now, screenshots are not acceptable, right? Of anything, right? Please access every single assignment through your module links. Like for NCLEX, don't go into evolve.com. For your case studies, don't go into evolve.com. Go from the link in the module. Okay? We don't need to really cover Hesi right now. This is Hesi case studies. I've already uploaded the links to your case studies. They're already in your assignments, in your modules. Okay. With your case studies, week 4 and week 8, don't worry about sending them to me. They automatically populate in the gradebook. Okay. And here, access is required through the Canvas course link. That's the way to do it. Okay. Screenshots not accepted. Access by any other method other than the link from the module is going to result in a 0. It's just an absolute nightmare if you don't do it through the link. And that's why it says that, because it's almost impossible to get it reset. It doesn't come from us. We have to go into Evolve. Let your instructor know if you're repeating the class to have your previous work reset. That's what I was talking about. Okay, writing papers and discussion posts. We expect APA format. Okay, in your student resources, you have guidelines of APA format. Okay, I'm also going to send them to you as well, but you guys at this point should be familiar with APA. Okay, you guys should be familiar with rubrics. Always look at your rubrics, always, before you even start an assignment. This is how I grade. Okay, so look at your rubrics before you turn in an assignment. Okay. APA, you can review slide 41 on your own. Taking exams. You already know this. Timed. You can only complete them once. What do you do? Okay, here's a question. What do you do if you get in, you start taking the exam and you're having problems? What do you do? Tiffany said it, but you're on mute. I could read your lips.
Stop the exam.
Exactly. And what do you do? Text me.
No.
Yeah, text me. I'm having problems and stop the exam. Okay. I read your lips, even though you're muted. You said stop the exam. I read that. Okay, technical issues. Here it is right here. Slide 44. Do not continue. Stop. Okay. And everything's on video, so they can see everything. And we'll problem solve with you. Okay, Kaplan. We don't need to talk about right now, but you're going to get a Kaplan assignment in week 10. Excellent, excellent, excellent assignment. Oh, that's the Kaplan grading. You know, with Kaplan, I'll remind you several times that you have to remediate every single question with Kaplan, all 30. Even if you get 30 right, you have to remediate 30 questions. Okay, so that's, you all have a copy of this PowerPoint. I sent this to you, right? So if I'm going through it too fast, go back and review. Hesi exam, not really going to cover right now. Summary. During this term, are you going to be prepared to sit for the Hesi at the end? What remediation could your online instructor review to help you prepare? What concepts covered in your homework assignments did you find challenging or difficult? These are just questions to ponder. Be prepared to discuss how care is continued once the patient is discharged from the acute care facility. That's what community nursing is. What's the nurse's accountability when they're off duty? And Dr. Lundy always likes to put these kinds of motivational things in there. You're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. So I can just tell you off the bat, I believe in all of you. I'm really happy to have you as part of my class. I look forward to this term. I love teaching community. I think it's just a different kind of nursing that if you never end up in community nursing, at least you're exposed to all the different things that the community nurse does. And certainly in the last 2 years, the role of the public health nurse and community nurse has been elevated to very visual levels with this COVID pandemic, right? Because it's been a public health crisis, right? So for my last 2 years in school nursing before I retired last year I was like a COVID nurse. I was like a public health nurse. That's all we did for 2 years in the schools. COVID. So anyway, let's jump to the modules. Okay, I'm not going to go through the announcements. If you guys are telling me you're, did I just not share my screen again? Oy. Here we go. Okay, so you guys have seen all these announcements, right? Schedule changes I mentioned earlier. I sent you this right before class, so some of you may not have seen it, so no big deal. And then the next announcement you'll be getting from me will be a lecture recording from tonight. And what was I going to send you? Was something else I was going to, oh, no, you already said that the template for the professional development plans. Let's look. Okay, so that's all your announcements so far. Let me look in week 1 here. I can't believe how many student resources you guys have. I mean, that is incredible. Okay. You guys have answers for everything in the student resources. That's the other thing. Don't send me questions before trying to find out on your own. Please always go to student resources and see if you can answer your own question. Tech support, who do I call? Don't just try and resolve it on your own, please, first, or attempt to. And then if you can't, I've gone through student resources. I can't find how to do this, but please try and resolve things on your own. All of you should have NextGen accounts, right? From the last 2 terms, you should have that. The other thing that's a really good resource that you guys have, let me get down here. Oh, it's not here. Student resources. Where is it? You guys have that Calculating with Confidence book, right? In your student resources. That's an excellent, if you struggle with math, that's an excellent resource. Plus, I'm going to send you a bunch of math resources too that I've gathered over the last year and a half that I think are really good too. So there's your quizzes. If you haven't done it, go in and do it. My bio. Is your Course Cafe working? Has anybody posted in Course Cafe from the last announcement I sent? Has anybody tried to? My group earlier today said access denied. Has anybody tried that? Somebody go in and try and open Course Cafe and see if it works, please, and let me know. It wasn't working for my earlier group. And do you know why I mentioned Course Cafe? Anybody?
Help me. Is that where you can ask the questions to everybody?
Yeah, you could, but do you know why I've asked you to post in Course Cafe? Okay, let's go back to the announcement. Is it week 1 announcement? Right here under your week 1 announcement, right here. By Sunday, July 17th, please go to Course Cafe and tell the class something about what you do for self-care. Looking forward to hearing what you do to take care of yourself. Anybody see that yet? That's okay. It's all right. That's in there. Anyway, can anybody access Course Cafe? Do you have access to it? I know Robin looks like she's in there looking. Can you access it? Or does it say access denied? Robin?
It won't let me do anything from my phone. I was trying.
Oh, you're on your phone. Is anybody on their computer?
Yeah, I was trying with my phone.
No worries. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. Can anybody access it?
I was able to do it.
You were. Anybody else try? Hi, Blake.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, I'm going to assume you can access it unless you tell me you can't. Okay, my whole group this morning, the whole class couldn't access it. So I knew it was a class issue, but I'm not hearing that you can't. So I'm going to assume that you can. So anyway, that was in the week 1 announcement. It was kind of to see if you read all the way to the bottom, but I guess you'll get to it. So let's see. There's your, okay. So week 1. So what I do each week, what I think you should do each week is just go through and go through each of the few things. Here's the overview. Here's what's due. When is it due? Just click through next. You always have a to-do list. Next is the reading. Here's your chapters, right? Here's your website to get to, right? And this one just tells you what the chapters are, what the names of them are. And everybody should have a vital source, right? Everybody should have access in their ebooks to community, right? Does anybody not have access to the community book? If you haven't had a chance to check yet, that's fine. But I would check this week and let me know if you don't, but you should all have access to it. And here's where you can load it, right? So you should have the same link to upload the book. Okay. And then next is our professional development plan. Okay, so there's your overview. Download assignment details. Where is that the, let's see, that's the, no, I don't see the template. Where did you, somebody said they saw the template. Where'd you find the template? It was supposed to be uploaded starting this term. Okay, I'll be sending you your template. So don't anybody, if you haven't done your professional development plan, don't do it yet. Wait till you get my template. Okay. Who saw the template? I thought somebody said they saw the template.
Yeah, I was pretty sure I read it. The long term, the short term.
Yeah. Let's see.
I don't think it's, if you scroll down,
There's a
it says
template, but you're
assignment,
not able to
scroll
write
back
on
up
it.
where it says assignment details. I don't think it was the actual template is where Amanda saw it, right there.
No, it's,
I
that's
think
the
that
rubric.
might be what she's talking about.
Okay, that's the rubric. So I have to send you the template.
If you click
So
the arrow,
What?
it'll download the template, but there's not a full template. It just shows the which you want us to write. There's nowhere to write the type your paper.
Oh, no, I'm going to send you a template. So hang tight. It's easy. It's already formatted for you, including the cover sheet. Template, professional development plan. Okay. And then I also need to send you my week 1 lecture recording. Not of, I'll send you this one. This is kind of orientation recording, but I also have already put together a lecture for week 1 material. Okay. All right. I'll send you that. So you don't have that. Okay. And then what else is in this week? Attestations. I like to do at the end of class, stop class early, and everybody pulls up their attestation, and then we answer all these questions together. And that way we get it done and you submit it, and it's one less thing you have to worry about. Okay, so we'll do this together. Okay.
I'm not done with the first part of this class.
What?
The technology stuff, I haven't even started that yet. So my modules aren't open to do that.
Okay. All right. Well, as soon as you'll have to get it done. So for the people that haven't done the technology or syllabus quiz, you're not going to be able to get into your attestations. You're correct, Tiffany. All right. So let's just do a quick check. Do we know what the policy for late work is so that we're ready to do it in 10 minutes? You guys know what the policy for late work is. That's going to be one of our questions. Define primary care. So that's in your readings. So maybe somebody can be looking up what's the definition of primary care, because we're going to need to answer that. And that's in your book. And then whose lecture you viewed or attended. That would be Marvel 711. Okay. So real quick, I want to cover, before I go through this syllabus, I just want to go through week 2. This is what we're looking ahead for next week. Okay, so exam 1 is going to be coming up quick. It only covers this week and next week. Okay, so here's what we got going for next week. Your readings, you have a discussion question, initial post due Wednesday, responses Sunday, NCLEX. So next week is your first set of NCLEX. So I wanted to show you on NCLEX, well, reading, here's your chapters, titles to the chapters. Here's your textbook. Okay, so, here's your discussion question. So pretty simple. Pick 3 common ailments and describe a few things about them. Actually, it says describe signs and symptoms or health consequences develop an educational plan, a 6-point plan for each of them. Okay. And the reason why I point this out to you is we give you a suggestion in the response to your peers. We always give you don't have to use it, but we just give you an idea because peer responses are supposed to move the conversation forward. They're not supposed to be good job, like what you said, good idea. They're supposed to be more meaningful. So we give you a little suggestion for each of your discussion questions. Like here next week, we say, in your responses to your peers, you might offer how you would use these tools to develop a care plan for a patient. It's just a suggestion because part of the rubric is for the peer responses is does the conversation get moved forward or other ideas are introduced? So anyway. Okay, where's next? Here's your NCLEX. So I just want to show you where, oh. This finally got done. I'm not seeing. Somebody go to week 2 and well, actually, I can do that. I can see what you see. I can go into student view under NCLEX. This assignment is hasn't been unlocked yet. Oh, because I haven't done the literacy check in syllabus. Somebody who's done that, somebody please go into week 2 module and go under NCLEX and tell me what you see, please. Well, I probably can't get into it.
Are you asking like what it's asking for?
Yeah, I just.
It gives the directions and then
exactly.
It says like mode, 50 questions, the category, the contact areas, like foundations of care and communication.
Thank you. Yep. So that's what I wanted to show you, but it's not letting me get in here because I haven't completed the technology quiz and the syllabus quiz. So that's exactly what I want to show you is right on your page for NCLEX, right when you click on that link, it tells you what the topics are all 4 weeks that you have NCLEX. So you don't have to email me and say, so what kind of questions should I be requesting? It's all pointed out to you. That was my point. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so you get NCLEX next week. Oh, here we go. Here it is. So it's right here. Select your 50 questions. Again, I don't want two 25s and I don't want 5 10s. And then it gives you right here your subcategories of what to select. Okay, so for next week, foundations, communication, community health, special populations, spirituality, culture, and ethnicity. And again, access NCLEX through this. Don't go rogue and go to evolve.com. It's not going to work. I promise you it's not going to work. And then attestation questions. So I'd like to cover the upcoming week as well. So the last thing, I don't know if you've gone through all your modules yet, but you can see when things are due. Okay, so your professional development plans due this week, your group, I'll be giving you groups. It's due in weeks 7 and 9. Oh, that's right. You don't need a group this week because your case study on Healthy People 2030, that's due in week 3. You can start it now. Oh, it does say this. Oh, yes. This is what you work in a group with. So I'm going to be giving you groups at the end of this week. And this is how we're using 2030. We have 3 case studies, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, I'm going to be assigning each group a different case study. And you have to go in and answer the question as a group. You'll have a couple of weeks to do it because it's not due till week 3. and the information comes from Healthy People 2030. Does that make sense? So your first group project is due in week 3. And then your second group project, which is your infectious disease paper, is due in week 7. Okay. And all the information on those assignments that are due ahead of due down the road are in the modules of the week it's due. So for example, we just found that case study in week 3, because that's when it's due, but we can start that now. And there's a whole email that goes out with the groups that talks about this. And then exam 4, I think we do our hospice first case study. Okay. And then in week 5, what do we got going? Discussion question, some NCLEX. Week 6, discussion question, exam. And then here is your group project, your second group project, infectious disease. Okay, so if you want to read about it ahead of time, you have to go to week 7 to find it. Okay, and same with week 9 for your vulnerable populations. Okay. And this one, we don't need to talk about today, but this vulnerable populations assignment is due in week 9. I'll probably be introducing that in week 3 or 4, because you can't wait till week 8. It's like a research paper. You have to get statistics in your zip code and all that. So we'll talk about that later. Okay. So syllabus, I just want to show you how it's broken down. It's pretty easy to read, but I wanted to show you the different columns. It's pretty easy to follow. Okay, so you can read through the course description, the student learning outcomes, the course objectives. Obviously, we're using, so you got to let me know this week if you're having issues accessing your the community book. There's a great reference package in your student resources, campus resource materials. So we'll be doing interactive live lectures. Like I said, I don't like to hear myself talk for 2 hours. So hopefully our lectures will be interactive. You have reading assignments, right, which include the PowerPoints. And I have to send you guys the case studies too for week 1. Okay. Discussion questions, written assignments. We don't have quizzes. I don't know why that's still in there. Let me know about any accommodations. We already went through this. This is the components. What did I want to show you though? There was something in here. Oh, yeah. So here's your outline. We have just taken this and put it into the modules, right? But I just want to let you know that on the left-hand side, week 1, it tells you what course objectives will be accomplished. And you can go back to the beginning of the syllabus to look at what those course objectives are if you want. But this is what we're covering this week. So online orientation, syllabus review, and then the rest of this is covered in my my recording. That's all material. Okay, and then here's your chapters, right? And then here's the assignments. So again, all the dots are connected. This is how your module is built. This is how the shell is built. Okay, so for example, next week, all right, next week we're going to talk about obviously completing homework, but we're going to talk about the school nurse. We're going to talk about healthcare issues in the community, health risks, and all of these topics and these bullets on the left side coincide with chapters in the middle. And then the third is obviously the assignments that are due. Okay, so I just wanted to show you how that's broken out. What else did I want to review with you guys? I think that's it. It's just too much to cover week 1 material in week 1. I started doing last term I started to do a recorded lecture, and that was helpful. So anyway, that's all I have. I want to, everybody who can, go to your attestation. Hopefully somebody's looked up primary care, right? What is primary care, you guys?
It is healthcare at the basic levels rather than the specialized levels.
Mm-hmm. So what kinds of things are we doing in primary care? Is that preventative?
Yes.
Right? You go to your doctor for a primary care appointment. What do they do? It's just it's a routine checkup, right? It's prevention. Anybody else want to add to what Tiffany said? What's primary care?
It refers to personal health care that provides first contact and continuous, comprehensive, and coordinated care.
Perfect.
That's
Why
from
don't
the
you,
slideshow.
Shauna, put that in the chat, please, so everybody can take. Do you mind? Put that in the chat. That way, everybody has.
Yeah.
Everybody can copy it, unless you have another definition. But there's lots of definitions of primary care. Tiffany and Shauna just read 2 of them. So let's get going with your attestation. So the first question is, what is the late work policy? Number 1 is what?
Sure.
What? Prior approval, right? Prior approval is number 1. Number 2, what is it? What's number 2? If you're 1 to 7, okay, so there, Shauna, thanks to Shauna, she just put that in for you guys for question number 2. Okay. So prior approval is number 1. And then then days 1 through 7, what's that?
10%.
Thank you. And after, what's day 8?
Nothing.
0. Day 8 is 0. Day 8 and beyond is 0. But prior approval is the big one. And that's why I can't stress enough how important communication is. And the other thing too is I offered to go through exams with everybody after, if you got a 95 or a 65, I offer, if they're, believe me, there are students that get in the 90s and they want to know the 2 or 3 questions they missed. So down the road, and this is just a sidebar, highly encourage you to take advantage of the schedule I put out for exam reviews, individual exam reviews. Anyway, so you guys all got the late work policy. Number 2 is primary care, which Shauna put in, and Tiffany also. Tiffany, what did you say?
I said primary care is defined as care at the basic level rather than the specialized level.
Yeah, you want to put that in the chat? So Tiffany's going to put that in the chat. You can add to that. And then question 3 is, whose class did you attend? And that would simply be Marvel on, okay, so there's Tiffany's. Yep. And be Marvel 711. That's it. Okay, and then when you're done, hit submit. And then check that off. Don't have to worry about that. So I like to do this every week just because in prior terms, people forget to do about this. It's supposed to be done in 24 hours and you just lose track of it. So, and for those of you that haven't completed those 2 quizzes, I'm done with class now. As if once we finish the attestation, I would maybe use the 20 minutes of the gift of time to get that done so you can access your modules. That would be my suggestion. And for the few people, let's see, Starla and Tech and Megan and Kimmy, I need your cameras on. Sorry. I need to enforce that this term. You guys need to keep your cameras on.
Occasionally,
sorry, mine
I
automatically goes off.
Oh, no
I
worries.
will have to turn mine off. I have an autistic daughter that sometimes believes clothes are optional in the house. So right now she's sitting with no t-shirt on. So
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
So mine will go on and off depending on her status of clothing.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
anytime I go back and forth between like your thing and then the school, like the Canvas show and stuff, it'll automatically turn off and then I'll forget to turn it back on.
Okay. All right. Just know that it's a expectation that your cameras are on during class. So again, Shyla. Nice to go back in. So everybody click submit. I will be happy to stay on for any questions that anybody has or things that you want to bring up with me that you don't want in the group, or you can email me separately. But for now, the last thing is I love feedback. Okay. I love feedback, whether it's positive feedback or constructive feedback. I just want to make sure I'm meeting your needs. And so I just ask real quick, how was the last couple of hours? Was it helpful? Was it too much information? Was it not enough information? What are you guys feeling like? Do you feel like this class is manageable?
Did you say that you were going to upload the template for this week for the professional development?
Yeah, I'll do that right after class. In case you want to start working on it tonight. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I did. There's a lot to do this week. And we have clinical on the weekend. Well, some of us have clinical on the weekend, so we don't really have time if we work full time also.
Totally. I totally get it. I'll do that tonight. I'll do that when we're done. How's that? So anyway, I'm just looking for some feedback from this evening. Helpful? Too much information?
I personally always feel like the first week is just jam-packed full of information.
It's crazy.
And a lot of it is super repetitive that like the classes get jumbled together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd have to agree because I feel like since we're basically done, I wish that these online class orientations could be shortened because this isn't our first time taking an online class. So I feel kind of like it's just, super repetitive for the past however many terms that we've had online classes before.
Yeah, good point. Thank you. Thank you for that feedback. Appreciate it. All right. So I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. Pardon me?
If you have one more question about the case studies, you said you were going to send out case studies for us to do.
Nope.
Are those separate?
The case studies, the two Hesi case studies are already uploaded, but there's a third case study that you do as a group, and that's the 2030. That's not due till week 3, but I have to send you the groups with the assigned case study, whether it's 1, 2, or 3.
Okay.
Does that help? Okay. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. It was really nice to meet everybody. Please reach out for anything. Whatever questions you have, I'll stay on for any questions, and just have a good rest of the week. Okay. I enjoyed meeting everybody.
Nice meeting you.
Okay. All right. Have a good evening.
Thank you.